Math friends, this is another math lesson on fractions for you. Next, we're going to go into decimals. So, our I can rename fractions with 10 and 100 in the denominator as decimals. But first, let's get a little decimal review. Alright, here's our number right here, 16 and 27 hundredths. Now, this 1 is in our tens place. This is a whole. We have 1 10. We have 6 ones. We have 2 tenths. And we have 7 hundredths. Alright? Now, I don't know if you noticed when I read the first time, but I said 16, and we always say the word and when we come to our decimal point, 27 hundredths. Alright? Now, what we're looking at doing today is taking a fraction and turning it into something like this as a decimal. Alright? If you can remember hundredths and tenths, this is going to be extremely easy for you. Alright? So let's first take a look at a fraction. Let's see if we can somehow turn it into a decimal. Okay? Let's start off simple with 5 and 7 tenths. Okay? 5 and 7 tenths. And we can turn it into a decimal. Well, we know that we have some holes. We have 5 holes. Now, what separates our holes from our parts of a hole is our decimal point. That's the easy thing. Now, this is 7 tenths. Now, if you remember just from a few seconds ago, we had some place values. Okay? Our tenths place and our hundredths place. So since this is 7 tenths, all we're going to do is write the 7 in our tenths place. This is our tenths place right here. Tenths. Okay, and this is our hundredths place. Alright? So this is 5 and 7 tenths. Okay? Now let's say our number was 5 and 70 hundredths. Well, if it's hundredths, all you need to do is write your 7 in your tenths and your 0 and your hundredths. So there's 5 and 7 hundredths. They're actually the same number. Alright, let's try another one. Let's say you have just 1 hundredth. 1 out of 100. Well, if we're trying to turn it into a decimal, we need to think, well, I don't have any holes. So that means we're going to put 0 for our holes and our decimal point. Okay? Now this is a hundredth. Now if you remember, place value we've learned about are tenths and hundredths. So if you have 1 hundredth, it would make sense to put the 1 in your hundredth place. Now this is the only tricky part. We don't have anything here, so guess what you need to put there? You need to put a 0 as your placeholder. So this fraction 1 hundredth is the same as this decimal 1 hundredth. This is 1 penny, and so is this. It's 1 penny as well. Alright? Let's do another one. Let's try 61 hundredths. Okay? 61 hundredths. Well, we don't have any holes, so we can put a 0 decimal point. Now, if it's 61 out of 100, that means that our 1 has to be in our hundredths place, and our 6 naturally needs to go in front of it. So this is 61 hundredths, and this is 61 hundredths. Or 61 pennies, 61 pennies. They're both the same amount. Let's try one more with some holes. We have 11 holes and 7 out of 10. Alright. Now when writing our decimals, we need to start with our holes. So we're going to put 11 holes. Decimal point, separating our holes from our parts of a hole. Now if this is 7 tenths, then we need to find the tenths place, which is the one right after the decimal point, and put our 7 there. Now, to make this a little trickier, let's say I want it to be 11 and 75 hundredths. Well, if this is 11 and 7 tenths, to make it 75 hundredths, actually all you need to do is add a 5 here. Let's just double check. 11 and 75 hundredths. This is another math lesson for your teacher. Hopefully I've challenged you this time.